What's up, Snap Squad? Today, we're unleashing the power of the cosmos with a deck that shines like silver. Whether you're looking to wipe out the competition or just surf your way to infinite, this deck will have you soaring through the ranks in no time. That's right, we're talking about the one and only Silver Surfer. With 3-cost cards getting a cosmic boost, this deck will have your opponents catching waves. It's not the kind they were hoping for. So grab your board and get ready to hang 10. Or should I say, hang 3? Silver Surfer is a cosmic powerhouse with the ability to take your 3-cost cards to the next level. When played, he buffs all of your 3-cost cards by +2 power, making him a key piece for decks built around mid-range strategies. His real strength lies in the way he can turn an ordinary board into an explosive finishing move. Whether you're flooding the field with value or setting up a sneaky final turn play, Silver Surfer is the wave that can carry you to victory. He's the perfect card for players who like to stay flexible and make a big impact at just the right moment. Now, let's dive into the deck list. We've got Agent Venom, Mystique, Sage, Brood, Magic, Silver Surfer, Luke Cage, Sebastian Shaw, Wong, Absorbing Man, Iron Man, and Odin. The synergy here is all about packing mid-range value and unleashing a wild endgame punch. I'll walk you through each turn and show you why this deck is practically made for reaching infinite without breaking a sweat. Since this is a mid-range deck, we skip the 1-drops to focus on a powerful late-game finish. Starting on turn 2, you'll lead with Agent Venom. This is one of the best cards for this deck as an early-game option since it directly buffs all but one card in the deck. It's a 4-power, 2-cost card that sets the power of all cards in your deck to 4 as an on-reveal ability. Odin is the only card that has power that exceeds this limit, but that affliction gets removed with Luke Cage on the battlefield anyway, and every other card in the deck has base power 4 or lower, so there's only direct benefit once that trigger goes off. And once it does, we are set up for our real setup turns. Starting at turn 3, we have a few really good options that will have to be decided mostly by what you've drawn into in the previous 2 turns and what lanes you've ended up with. Magic might be the best option at this point, since you'll know how all the lanes will affect your plan, and you can get rid of the peskiest one. Conveniently, she's also a 3-drop. If you have not drawn into Magic yet, then Sebastian Shaw and Brood are stellar setup pieces as well, but keep an eye out for Magic over the next couple of turns, because having a turn 7 in this deck is extremely helpful. Now on turn 4, you've got Wong as an option, but he's a bit of a diva and tends to attract a lot of trouble. Dropping Wong on curve is like putting a neon sign on the board that says, "Please ruin my plan." So sometimes it's better to just keep him in hand and play other 3-costs like Luke Cage, Brood, or Magic if you weren't able to play it on the previous turn. Brood is a 2-power, 3-drop that makes 2 Broodlings at the location it's played on. Sebastian Shaw is a base 4-power, but whenever it permanently gains power by any means, it gains an additional 2 power on top of it. This includes whether it's on the field, in your hand, or still in the deck. And Cage is a 3-for-3 that negates all forms of affliction done to your cards. At first glance, none of these really seem all that powerful, and you may oftentimes find that you'll lose priority because of it. Know that there's more than what's on the surface with them, and Surfer is just waiting for his moment to ride, with all of them being 3-cost. Turn 5 is all about positioning for the big finish. Ideally, you want your setup cards focused on just 2 lanes, keeping 1 lane open for a possible Wong and Silver Surfer combo. If that's not looking like an option, though, Iron Man and Mystique make for a killer backup plan. Iron Man can supercharge a lane with Brood for an impressive power boost, especially if Agent Venom's been played earlier. Playing Mystique to copy Iron Man can double the intimidation factor, giving you a huge power surge across multiple lanes. Otherwise, you can use this turn for 1 final setup piece, and you can add Sage into the mix too if there's a lane that her ability can be used effectively on. Sage is yet another 3-energy card that starts with 0 base power, but has an on-reveal ability that gives her +2 power for each different power among all cards on the location that she's played. This card is a powerhouse and can add a ton of power to a lane that might otherwise be looking pretty weak. She's most effective when played over Wong, though, since her ability will trigger multiple times, and in a lot of cases will just win that lane all by herself. And that's before we get to the Surfer triggers. Now for turn 6, this is where the deck really starts to pop. As we're packed full of these mid-range madness cards, we oftentimes are going to be able to play 2 of our spiciest pieces and start to build up the empire on the foundation that we've been laying. If you played Wong turn 5, then you can Mystique Surfer for an explosive play. Or you can Sage Surfer on the Wong lane to explode in a different direction. In any case, though, you want to make sure that your Surfer is going to be the last card that you played for the turn, so that we can follow it up with a turn 7 that will make this turn look like an appetizer for the real damage that you'll be dishing out. If you weren't able to go the Wong route of winning, though, and your turn 5 was Iron Man, then your turn 6 should be Mystique followed by Surfer. Mystique, being a 3-drop and also being a copy of Iron Man, means big things for whatever lane it is that she's on. However, this also means that you have to be very strategic in where you're placing your Stark suits, because you can very easily overcommit a lane and leave yourself stranded on an island of power with no way out. Then comes the grand finale, turn 7. If you've got Odin in hand, unleash him on that Wong Surfer lane to double down on Silver Surfer's ability and buff all your 3 costs into oblivion. Your opponent's confidence will crash faster than that one time you tried to parallel park after a happy hour margarita. And if Odin isn't in hand, Absorbing Man can fill in, letting you double down on Surfer or copy another big on-reveal ability. Heck, even Luke Cage could add a surprise power-up here, healing any afflicted cards and letting your board pop off for one last crushing blow. I haven't mentioned Absorbing Man throughout the video so far, but he could actually be used as early as turn 4 depending on what you've played already and what you have in your hand. It could be used to follow up a turn 3 Brood to give you more Broodlings on a different lane, and even though Absorbing Man is a 4-drop, the Broodlings are still 3-cost cards, but will enter with the power of Absorbing Man, giving them a +2 power buff to start. It can also be used as a secondary Sage, except he starts out with a +4 power buff over the original in this case. I have even used it as another magic to get rid of a different pesky lane that would otherwise be getting in the way of our game plan. It could almost be considered as the man behind the curtain that gives us a way out when all hope may otherwise be lost. The flexibility that it provides to this mid-range playstyle and the ability to give us more synergy and redundancy to our strategy, we can deposit more cubes in our stashes than ever before. So to quickly summarize, we have 2 different primary routes to follow when using this deck. The first and most fun in my opinion is getting 3-cost cards built up on 2 of the locations and then play the Wong Mystique Surfer Odin combo for an obscene amount of Silver Surfer triggers. Otherwise, you can stack power on 2 lanes and then play Iron Man and Mystique to double down on all the power you've created. Strategies are very effective. Just because these are the primary ways of winning doesn't mean that they're the only ways. And by that is, this deck is a lot more resilient than most decks I played around with and wins games by alternative means often, even when the combos aren't hit. At the time of this recording, and with a sample size of 225 games, this deck is sporting a staggering 61% win rate with an average cube gain of 1.1 cubes, according to my SnapFan metrics, making this the most effective and consistent deck that I've put together yet by a long shot. To give this deck and other decks of mine a gauge to measure each other up against, I would normally be putting them on a 5-star rating system and breaking down their power levels and such, but this deck has redefined how I'm going to be looking at those rankings, and I feel like that scale is changing too frequently for me to fairly assess each deck in this type of way. So for at least this video, I'm going to skip that portion and instead ask of those who have seen my previous videos to let me know in the comments if that's been a segment that you've enjoyed and you'd like for me to keep doing in future deck tech videos. To be able to provide the best content for you all, so I'm conscripting your help in letting me know what it is that you all want to see. And thanks to any of you who take the time to provide that feedback, it really does mean a lot to me. And that's going to wrap things up for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. You can also find me live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Depriesticles. Have a great day, everyone, and as always, happy snapping.